Hi, everybody. It's Monday. I have to apologize for that because this weekend was crazy. First weekend of big meets, and some of the results were not that great. But hello, I'm Michael Newman. I run ILXCTF.com. It's the 9th. It should be the 8th. So this is Sunday night on a Monday night with ILXCTF. I hope everybody had a good weekend. Oh, I'm telling you, the weather was great, fantastic, just unbelievable. Uh, we're going to, I don't have any notes with me, so I'm just winging this here. Um, we're going to talk about Hinsdale, the Red Devil invite. We'll talk about Levy. We'll talk about some of the other big meets that were going on this weekend and going back to a few in the past week. Um, well, right now so I'm hoping I get this done in about 20 minutes. So that's the name of the game today, folks. Quickness. Um, we have a recap that's coming up tonight from the entire weekend, and then we'll have previews coming up of some of the top meets that are going on, and we're going to talk about the big enchilada this week and put first to the finish. So strap in, get ready for the ride. Bumpy road this weekend, but let's start with Hornet, not Hornet, Red Devil, the Red Devil invited Hinsdale Central. The course is now 2.9 miles. Uh, great. Uh, I mean, in the olden days, it was here's where we're going to start, here's where we're going to finish, and let's see what distance they run during that time. And this is 2.9. So the runners at KLM, I don't know how many new records have been set there. There have been so many different layouts at the park. There's the COVID layout, the old layout, the old layout, so on and so forth. This one, instead of going to the left after you go through the field and then over and behind the tennis courts and then up that long hill, you don't go up the long hill. You go up the hill, but it's been cut off because you're going to the right instead. And it made the course faster. The times for the first mile on Athletic.live for the meet, it's not it's not 4:31 or 5:28 for the girls. Girls were about 5:43, 5:44 at the mile. Boys were about 4:43, 4:44, 4:45 of the first mile. Ben Crane is on a mission this year, I'm telling you. Um, but it was tougher than I thought, because I thought he was just going to run away from the field. 4:44 at the mile, 9:30, 9:31 at 2 miles with Josiah Narianen of Wheaton Warrenville South close. Narianen is running with confidence, and you can see that. You can see how far behind he finished. Well, I mean, in a 2 mile race where he finished and compared to a 3 mile race. Narianen stayed with Ben until like the final, I want to say 800 meters. That's when Crane made a huge acceleration and ran 13:58. That's the fastest time for a 2.8, 2.9, 3 mile course layout in the history of that park. 13:58 for 2.9 miles translates to 14:26. Narianen was 9 seconds back at 14:08. And then Finn Richards could be one of the top runners in 2A this year. He was third. So it'll be interesting. All three of them split coming. Burp. Narianen runs at Lake Park, the Harvey Brow Invitational. Ben Crane will be running at first to the finish. And then Finn Richards will be one of the favorites at Joliet. So we'll see what happens there. Palatine. It was hard to tell during the race who was going to win this. There were so many runners that were going back and forth. Palatine won with, I think, 102, 103 points. Then it was Nutrier, who was the top-rated team in there. Then Wheaton Warrenville South, and it went on like that. Palatine, it's too early in the year. That was their first big race of the year. But when you run 6, 8, 9, have 3 runners up front like that in a bigger meet like this, impressive, really impressive. Their 4th runner was 32nd. Their 5th runner was 48th. That was a concern at the beginning of the year. I wrote in my preview. So let's see how it works out during the year with them. On the girls' side, Veronica Zaneta, who's the same way, has a little bit of a chip on her shoulder. She's pushing it a little bit more. And she pulled away from Maya Ledesma of Manuka. Maya's running. She won at Yorkville on Tuesday. She won the week before at Normal West. And then this week she got second. She was about 8, 9 seconds back, but she was within it. She was in the top 6 during the race. Great races by Meg Peterson of Prospect. Meg came from behind. She fell back in the middle mile, came back from 6th place, finished 3rd. Madeline Bialco of Hersey, 4th. Stella Davis, 5th. Nicole Poglish ran a great race, was in the top 5 throughout. She was 2 seconds behind Davis in 6th. So great races by all those ladies. Team-wise, Hersey, wow. So you're going through all along going, these are the 5 teams I think are going to do things. We haven't seen Yorkville at first to the finish. We'll see Manuka. We'll see Batavia. All 3 were there, but it was Hersey. Hersey does not run in a big meet for 2 weeks. They were at Richard Spring in 2 weeks, along with Prospect and all that. But they beat Prospect by 4, 83 to 87. Very interesting to say the least. So we see, we can see now what girls looks like in 3A. It's going to be a big old mess. That's what I'm telling you. But it's going to be any of, right now, 7, 8 teams, possibly, but it's September 9th. And we'll get an idea by the end of the month. We will see. We will see what happens. And then it's fun time in October. At Levy. Tommy Nitz wins the boys race. Grayson Ellenson of St. Charles East gets second. Naperville North is only ranked 26th, but that doesn't matter because they were the top-ranked boys team, I believe, other than Marmion. They won. Naperville North doesn't have all their top 7. There's one runner, about 2, NR, but I can't pronounce. Sorry, I'm sorry. But Naperville North looks pretty good. They may move up a little bit. We'll see how they look in 2 weeks. They will be in the boys' race at Richard Spring. But Tommy Nitz wins the race, 15-15, and Ellenson. And I already said that. In the girls' race, Wow. Uh, and think about this. York wins with 37. Barrington runs 111. You didn't see Scout Storms in the results. She ran 17:45 on Tuesday in a dual meet and then had, according to her coach, had allergy problems. And she will be running next week. What I did find out from a few coaches was that she dropped out at the mile. I wasn't told that, so it's the way it is. So hopefully she's better by Saturday. Mia Serwa of Barrington won the race 16:43. I think that's got to be a course record at at Northwest Medicine. 2.98 miles. It's not 3 miles. It's 2.98. Yeah, we're going to be going through that a lot today. But Sirois winning it, I'm going to learn her name quickly because I'm going to be talking about her the rest of the year. The freshman, we'll just call it the freshman from York, runs 17:11 to get second, and there was a big gap after that. But York wins with 37 points, Barrington 111. And just think, all except one runner in their top 5 right now are underclass. Whoa. Like I said, will be interesting. Let's take a gander at Grays Lake, not Grays Lake Central, we'll get to that in a second. Granite City. Now, Granite City, one coach, there's a lot of controversy about that course going, oh, it's 3 miles and all this stuff. And then when all of these coaches, parents send in when we walk the course and it's 2.95, then you kind of have to, whatever. So I don't know. One coach said that they moved it out to 3 miles. We will see at first to the finish because there's a time translation from Peoria to Granite City. I'm not telling you it, but it's it's an easy mathematical equation and all of this stuff. Zach Toman looks really good. Ran 14:20 for the win. He's running this week a 5K course, Forest Park in St. Louis. St. Louis University is a real good team. They finished second, and then Edwardsville and O'Fallon finished third. Thomas of Edwardsville ran 14:35 to finish fourth. So there are 2 teams that are in our top 10, and they deserve to be there. They're running well. On the girls' side, Chatham Glenwood, they have a freshman in their top 5 right now. Chatham Glenwood wins, I want to say 47 points, and then it goes from there for 63, I believe, for Edwardsville or O'Fallon. I don't remember. So we have others. Oh, in the varsity race at Granite City, Elena Rybeck, she said she set the world on fire on the track last spring, and now she set Granite City on fire at Wilson Park. I mean, 16:46 for the win, winning by about 16, 17 seconds. Impressive indeed. Crump of Waterloo, 17 minutes. Longren of Chatham Glenwood was third. Isabel Carter runs at Chrisman, which is a rugged course, and runs 16 41, 16, 42, something like that. So she breaks her course record by 30 seconds from freshman to sophomore year. She's going to be unbeatable. She's going to be tough. But I think Miss Rybeck has a lot to say about that. Keller doesn't run in Peoria, we believe, until state. That's what she did last year. Rybeck will be at 8 o'clock in the morning. Everybody talks about track running. Well, we should change the times for the prelims and the boys and the girls so they get a better chance, a little more rest. 1A is running at 8 o'clock in the morning in Peoria, then 8:40 for the 1A boys, and so on and so forth. And it'll be cool at that point. It'll be in the mid-60s by the time they run. And by the time the 3A teams run, it's going to be low 80s. It's going to be 88, 89 on Thursday, Friday, which will be hot, hot, hot. And so maybe we talk about changing that around too, that schedule around. Let the boys go first every once in a while. Come on. I don't know. Any case, I'm trying to think of everything else. Lyons Township. Lyons Township, Downers Grove North, won. Boys' side was convincing, but Blue Valley Southwest came in on a mission trying to knock off Downers Grove North, and I don't think they're used to Illinois cross country, but they ran well. I mean, Downers North it was like 48 to 63 or something like that. Downers North had 5 runners in the top 20. Blue Valley Southwest had 3 runners in the first 6, and then you're looking a little bit to see where their 4th and 5th runners are. But they ran well. You got to give it to them. They ran well. Ran a nice race to win it. Philip Cupiel took off right before the turn. He's run this course before. Back of his hand. Oh, there's the course map. Cupiel runs about 15:31. The conditions were great. Times were a little bit slower, but to run 15:31 on that course, that's pretty good. Grant Schroeder of Downers North was 3rd. Courtney was 10th. Surratt was 16th, and Kelly was 20th. Same top 5, but interchangeable, and you're going to see that with this team this year. Their split at Nico was 32 seconds. It was 38 seconds this week. So we'll see what happens next week. They run up against the big dogs. They run against Fremd, Plainfield North. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about top of 3A. I saw a rankings page on IG. The kid didn't know who I was. Whatever. That's all I said. He didn't want to give me his name, so there. I looked at some of the rankings while I was at practice this afternoon, and I laughed and I laughed. There's a lot of work to do. You have to do a good job either knowing what the teams look like from 1 to 10. And I looked at 712 schools or whatever this summer, researching them. So I know what basically every team has. But when you do something like this, you got to be good. You've got to know your teams, and you can't just guess, and you can't move a team up because of a dual meet. So he didn't know who I was. I asked, do you really know who I am? And he didn't know. If he looked at my profile on Instagram, he would find out. Any case. So Downers Grove North has 38 seconds split with Cupiel leading. They're number 1 right now. In number 2, it comes down to 3 teams. Right now, they'll be number 2. Barrington, 1. Bregenzer runs 14:39, breaks Sato's record by 4 seconds, and I think there was like a 38-39 second split between Bregenzer to their pack, and another 26-27 second split from 2 to 5. Maloney easily wins at Plainfield City, and it was 51 seconds at normal between Maloney. Maloney ran 14:30, and that's going to be a good race. Crane and Maloney, and if Rory Gann is in shape, that if the conditions are a little bit cooler, we're going to see some fast times there. But the split, I think, was 48 seconds on Maloney to the pack, and then I think it was 20 seconds from 2 to 5. For Plainfield North, Serwinski was back behind Davis. He was with the pack with Aiden Connors and so on and so forth. Their split, I don't remember their split. I know if Serwinski, who ran with Davis, won the race the week before at EIEIU Showdown, then Plainfield South still wins 25-30. So hard to say where these are going to fall, how they're going to fall. My guess right now is Barrington 2, Plainfield South 3, Plainfield North 4, but rankings don't matter right now. They really don't. I haven't really looked at X, but I had a few messages. Where are you going to rank Lincoln Way Central? They ran good at LT. They ran good, but I don't know where I'm going to rank them yet. I looked at their splits. I don't know. So you guys are going to have to wait till Wednesday sometime. I may just put them up at 11:59 on Wednesday night. Told you I'd put them up on Wednesday. Here you go. Here you go. 1,000 points of light. So it's going to be interesting coming up this weekend. On the girls' side of Lions, oh my gosh. Downers Grove North, 18 points. They didn't run their freshman. Slight injury, and Tim McDonald didn't want to take a chance, which is smart. So she may run at Lake Park this weekend. That's always a good race on the girls' side with Lake Park. Not with Lake Park, with Prospect. Gosh, I'm just St. Ignatius, York. Downers Grove North is going to be a hot race. It's going to be hot anyway. Annika Swan, let's see how she wins, if she goes out and tries to take this race from Seneda. It'll be interesting. Previews coming up this week for First to the Finish. We'll have a deep interview, preview of that. We'll talk about the other teams. The recap from this weekend should be up sometime this evening. Like I said, I had fun this weekend with everything. And we'll just take it from there. I hope everybody had a good week, enjoyed this weather. I mean, 60 degrees, and coaches are coming up to me, where's your sweat? Are you dressing for next week? I'm like, no, this is really nice. And so 1 week down, many to go. And it's going to be fun the next 2 weeks. We got a good idea how fast these runners are going to run first to the finish and then the following week at Richard Spring. Hopefully we get 2 good weeks of comparable weather so we can really do a good interview. Now, perspective of the meet. Yeah, this has been a long weekend. I need some rest. So with saying that, have a great week. We'll see you next, we'll see you next week on the next edition. We'll see you in 6 days in the next edition of Sunday Night with ILXCTF.com. Have a good week. We'll see you soon.